Hey everybody, welcome to Esoteric Ramblings. I'm Jesse Arnold, and this is week 29 of Comic Rundown 2021 for Wednesday, July 21st, a couple days late. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me today. I am sorry it has taken so long to get my Wednesday Comic Rundown up this week. I just had a busy couple days, and then I was not feeling good Friday, so I didn't get to post it yet. So, just to let you know, thank you for waiting. For those of you who look forward to this, hopefully you've gone out and made some choices of your own and you're not depending on me to make suggestions for you. But if you haven't, or if you're open to suggestions, I've got a few for you today. And I'm just going to start my haul off with my new collected edition that came in this week. Is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Volume 13 IDW collection with Jennika on the cover, the nice yellow banded spine, and as always they have the color place ribbon, marker ribbon, whatever, I don't know what the fancy technical term for this thing is, and I just threw it on the floor and probably smashed my corners. No, actually seems to be in fine condition. The book ribbon to place your mark on these books. This series is absolutely fantastic. It is my favorite iteration of the Ninja Turtles, and this volume 13 collects issues 90 through 100, plus the 2019 Free Comic Book Day issue, and Macro Series Raphael, and the entire Shredder in Hell miniseries. So that's one of the great things about this IDW collection, is they incorporate all the miniseries tie-ins, one-shots, annuals into the correct narrative placement for the series. So if you've been wondering about getting these, they're a little expensive. I mean, I think they were $40 when they first started coming out. They are $59.99 now. So they were $50 when they started out. So they've gone up $10, I believe. Maybe they were always $59.99 and I just forgot. But well worth it. Nice big hardcover collection, and all the spines have different colors depending on the character on the face. So yeah, absolutely worth it to jump into the Turtles IDW series. So highly recommend those collections and that series in general. I'll start off this week with number ones. This first one is just a throwback to a week or two ago. I can't remember when it came out, but I did not get it that week. But it is the X-Men number one variant by Scotty Young. Mainly got it because Rogue is on the cover, and I have his Uncanny Avengers number one, I believe, with her on the cover, and some of the other different ones over the years that he's done. So just sticking to my Rogue-themed covers, there's another one to that list. So actually new for this week is Bermuda number one from IDW Publishing again. Written by John Layman and art by Nick Bradshaw, coloring by Len O'Grady. This is a fun new series that I really enjoyed. So new number one, Bermuda from IDW. Up next is another new number one from Emilia Clarke. Yes, that Emilia Clarke from Game of Thrones and Last Christmas and other such entertainment movies. Entertainment movies? Mom, Mother of Madness, a new miniseries from Image Comics. This is a nice oversized issue. It does have a thicker spine, and it is a lot of fun. Let's see, this is the Layla Lee's cover, who is actually the interior artist as well, so I went for that cover. And Marguerite Bennett also has contributed to the writing. So story by Emilia Clarke and Marguerite Bennett, and Lee's on art. So this is another great number one issue. All right, and here we go with the countdown. Not the countdown, just the rundown. Countdown's at the end. Homesick Pilots, issue 7. This almost made my top 3 this week, but it didn't quite get there because I was a little confused. So that's on me. But a great issue, another great issue in this run. Absolutely love this weird sci-fi punk. This is a book that's really hard to pin down a genre, but it's really fun, and I highly recommend that series. Justice League number 65. Getting lots of reflection from my lights here. This is just another great issue continuing on the whole plot with Naomi joining the team and characters actually wanting to have... they keep asking where Black Adam is, and they can't believe they've asked for it because there's stuff with magic going on. But yeah, it's fun issue 65 of Justice League. I believe this is going to be my last issue of Marauders. I skimmed through this. I can honestly say I did not read this cover to cover, so I can't really give too high or low of a recommendation on it. I'm kind of burnt out on whatever this story is doing anymore, and I am moving on to other things in the X universe, or outside the X universe, and just going from there. Let's see. Up next is New Mutants, number 20. If you've not read the previous issue, that is centered around the events of the Hellfire Gala, highly recommend that before... I keep saying highly recommend. I gotta be better with what I'm saying here. I strongly suggest you read that, obviously, before reading this. Most of comics work sequentially. But yeah, they get into a lot of stuff in this issue. I do really like this cover. And I really like the whole premise of the Shadow King messing with the kids, although I do have issues with the fact that Shadow King just gets a free pass to run around on the island. I feel like it's a bait and switch where he's a bad guy, but maybe he's not being as bad as whatever the bigger threat they're establishing is. I also really don't like the concept of these particular teams feeling like nobody's paying attention to them, which, isn't necessarily wrong, but I don't like the fact that they're being ignored. I don't like that it's true, that their observation of how they were being treated is true. This is just, again, a whole disappointment in the whole mutant side of the universe right now. But I'm still going with some of them. Shadecraft number 5 is the final issue in the first story arc. And unfortunately, we don't know when the creative team will be back to this, but they have promised they will be back at some point. This was a really emotional and really well done issue. I really enjoyed it. I was really sad when I read the note at the end saying that this was the end for now, because I'm really looking forward to see where the rest of these characters go. I just really enjoyed this series. Nothing in it feels like a direct connection to me, but I connected with the characters, and when I get that emotionally invested in characters, it's sad to see them go, even if it's only temporary. So, looking forward to the return of Shadecraft at some point in the future, and best of luck to the creative team on whatever projects they have coming up next. From the pages of Teen Titans Academy, which I am not reading, but it is Shazam number 1 of 4, new miniseries. Shazam is having problems with his powers, and he is looking for help. So this is cool. It feels like a nice progression from the previous Shazam series. I'll be honest, I didn't really read Shazam until the whole Rebirth era of Shazam. I did read the Jeff Johns, or whoever it was that wrote the backup issues in Justice League during New 52 that was kind of the baseline for the movie that came out. I did read that and like that, and all of these feel like the next progression of that storyline. Up next is, I'm going to do a switcheroo here. Up next is the Star Wars High Republic Adventures, number 6. This is cool. This feels like it is tying more into the first of the mid-grade novels, or mid-level novels. I believe it was... Into the Dark, yes. It feels like it's tying into the events of that book. So if you've not read that book, they do give you some filler here to catch you up on what's going on. That's why I did not read this one in depth, because as soon as I picked up on some of that, I want to make sure I finish reading Into the Dark novelization before I pick up this. That leads us to Star Wars War of the Bounty Hunters Darth Vader, issue 14, the next chapter in the War of the Bounty Hunters story. This is really cool. I'm surprised that some of these bureaucrats from the Republic era are still in service to the Emperor this far into the Empire's timeline. And there's a lot more alien races serving in the Empire in the comics than my previous era of reading the books back in the 90s and stuff led me to believe would have been possible. But this is really cool, the way it sets up, leading Vader to go to this bounty hunter ball auction to get Han Solo. Yeah, I remember reading all the books in the 90s, which I know aren't technically canon anymore. But they really established the Empire didn't like non-human species. That's why you didn't see any non-aliens in the movies, the original trilogy, and it just felt like the Emperor was very racist, which fits with his personality, and the whole separatist thing in the prequels, how they were all non-human races. So it's just surprising that, because Masameda is still a part of this, the blue, I don't remember what his species is, but he was in, the first movie with, when Palpatine gets elected to the Chancellor or whatever. So, yeah, it's just interesting, but I really like what they're doing with, it's a whole little rabbit hole, the bounty hunter stuff that's going on and all of this. It feels a bit over dramatic for what's going on with Han Solo being the focus of this whole thing, and his rescue in Return of the Jedi. So I'll be really intrigued to see how this plays out, where it goes, but I am enjoying it. And that leads us to Jabba the Hutt, #1, one-shot, that is part of the War of the Bounty Hunters. And this was really cool. I really enjoyed this issue. I can't remember if we met her in a previous issue, but she gets like full on display in this one. What was her name? I am losing her name. Deva Lompop, who is this kind of green-tinted alien with bird feathers for a hair, kind of mohawk-looking thing. She is indebted to Jabba for some reason or another, and the only thing I did not like in this issue is she keeps calling Boba Fett Jabba's pup, and it felt that little slur, that little dig felt overused, and it was a little annoying. But otherwise, I really enjoyed this issue. I like the new character, and like with the other bounty hunter stuff, I'm really enjoying this storyline. Undiscovered Country 14 from Image. This story arc that's going on now, where they're in kind of the realm of creativity, the sea of possibility, where they're being challenged to create like the ultimate American masterpiece, is really interesting. I really love this cover. I believe this is a Tula Lotte cover. Yes. This is the Tula Lotte variant, or alternate. But yeah, this series is really cool, seeing an America that walled itself off from the rest of civilization and then just got really, really weird. And like almost supernatural weird, sci-fi weird. But yeah, it was really cool. And Scott Slater has written a lot of things that a lot of people have differing opinions on across the board. I really enjoy his non-superhero stuff. So like this and American Vampire, really like. I'm really looking forward to the next trade of American Vampire coming out, so I can catch up, because I didn't get into that until well into the volumes, so I'm not reading the single issues on that. Up next, from Marvel, X-Men Legends #5 with X Factor from Peter David and Todd Knock. This was a really fun issue to kind of see another throwback storyline back to the kind of 90s era X teams, and I really enjoyed this. So this one was a lot of cool, great art from Todd Knock, who he has come to our shop, I believe, twice now for signings and different events as he's passed through the area. So it was really cool to see him doing more and more stuff that I want to read regardless of who's doing the art, as opposed to reading it because he's doing the art, if that makes sense. If there are artists I like, I will check out things they do, even if it doesn't seem to be a book I'm totally into. So it's nice when there's stuff I'm already getting, and since they have rotating artists on this book, it's just fun to see his take on these characters in that time period. Because I didn't know about him until recently, well, the last 5 or 6 years or so. And this story is set back in the 90s when I don't believe he was in the industry at that point. So it's fun to see different artists jumping into eras that they didn't get to work on. That brings me to my cover of the week. And the cover this week goes to Catwoman 33. It is the Jenny Frison alternate cover with Catwoman and Poison Ivy. I just absolutely... Green is my favorite color, and just this striking cover with Catwoman shaded green and Poison Ivy with all the red accents and everything is just a really great cover. Feels almost like traditional playing cards, like with the roses. Obviously it's different faces, but it kind of gives that vibe, and I really, really enjoy that look. And now for my top 3 in ascending order. So from 3 to 1, my number 3 pick of the week is Captain Marvel issue 30, that wraps up the Magic storyline, sets some things straight for the record, and has a really, really great Jamie McKelvey backup story, which backup stories don't always hit me the way the regular issues do, but the backup story in this issue really, really hit me. I really liked the regular part of this issue, but the backup story is all about Carol and Kamala sitting down and having a talk. And it's again, I know I've talked about this before, I love when the characters get to be people and human and characters and not just super, super punchy stuff, which is kind of Carol's go-to thing. And I really like that about her, but I do love that there is a whole multi-dimensional side to her that the comics that do really good. Like this team on this book has been doing a great job. I really loved the first couple of years when they brought her back as Captain Marvel, or brought her out as Captain Marvel from Kelly Du's Pseudoconic, and those creative teams were just really killing it. Up next, number 2 for my top 3 of the week is one I've mentioned already, Bermuda number 1. I didn't get into a lot of detail because I knew it was going to be coming back to this now. This is a really fun take on the whole Bermuda Triangle lost navigation tropes, but in a fun new way. This has elements of swashbuckling piracy, sci-fi adventure. It's one of those books that just has a lot of elements of storytelling that I like from lots of different genres, and it's playful and fun, and it is really cool. Nick Bradshaw on art, and I said earlier that John Layman is the writer. Gonna have to check out his name. I don't recall his name from other things, so I'm gonna have to look up other things that he may have done. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. Bermuda Triangle, people get lost and discover this alternate world within the Bermuda Triangle. And I won't spoil it, but on the back of the cover is a map of the island, that they're the place wherever they are in this story, and I really like that. It's cool to see things mapped out. I love maps in general, and creative sci-fi fantasy maps are always fun. Just takes me back to reading the back of the Captain Crunch box when I was a kid, with the whole islands and sea stories of Captain Crunch, and I think you could color it in or whatever. So good memories. And up next, from Image, again, another one I already talked about briefly, Mom, Mother of Madness, number 1, from Amelia Clark, Marguerite Bennett, and Layla Lies. This book is really cool. I think I missed out on it in previews because it kind of had this cover that was like a pink mask with like buttons sewn into it. and it made me feel a little awkward, and I didn't like the look of that. Not that it wasn't well done. It just, I was like, all right, kept going. And then I saw online that it was from Emilia Clarke, like from Game of Thrones, and I was like, I like seeing when creative people who do one thing try something else. So reading Berserker from Keanu Reeves and the people he's working with on that to this, and it sounds like she might have a lot more hands-on involvement in this storytelling. So I was really intrigued to check it out, and the premise of a single mom who has superpowers trying to make her way through the world just intrigued me, and I wanted to check that out. So there's a nice note at the back from Emilia Clarke talking about the creation of this story, and I will say, no, I'm not going to say anything. I'll let you read it for yourself. I think you should give it a try. If you like really fun, crazy, zany stories set in kind of hyper stylized versions of our world, so it's not quite the world we know, but it's not hard to imagine a world where that could be a possibility. I'm thinking, kind of Soylent Green, just kind of a slightly more extreme versions of reality, but in different ways. But yeah, so check out Mother Madness from Emilia Clarke, Marguerite Bennett, and Lila Lies. This is a really fun issue. I believe it is only a 3-issue miniseries, but the artwork is great. The storytelling is really cool. There's lots of sketches and designs in the back that are really awesome. So check this out if you can find it at your comic shop. All right, that is it for my comic haul rundown this week. It is really late. Technically, we're into the next week by the time this posts. So if you have any comments, questions, please hit it up down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on these things. If you've already read some of these, let me know what you think. It's okay to say that you don't like things, but I'd really like to keep my comments, not that there's a lot of them, but I don't want to have negative, mean stuff in the comments. So if you didn't like it, just say you didn't like it and leave it at that. Or if you want to specify certain things, just try not to be mean. And, I'm just going to say, try to keep that mentality across all social media things you interact with, not just my page. Because there's enough negativity and meanness in the world that, I'm just going to leave it at that. It's okay not to like something. Doesn't mean you have to tear it down and destroy it. So that's why I kind of try to edit myself when I start talking about the X books that I'm not enjoying. Not necessarily saying they're bad, I just don't enjoy them. That said, I will wrap it up here. I'm going to have possibly a really weird big Monday Madness tomorrow, talking about the Masters of the Universe show. I've seen a couple movies that I'm just gonna dump it all out there. Got some other random action figures and stuff over the past week or so, and it's just gonna be a real Monday Madness. So we'll see how that looks when it posts. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time, and as always, ramble on.